Hello everyone and welcome back to my survival time-lapse series. My name is Illyrio and today I'm finally gonna mine all the ancient debris I got from the 10,000 blocks perimeter. If you remember, at the end of the perimeter video, I've shown that the world eater left all the ancient debris on each side of the perimeter, which means I have a bunch of ancient debris on this side and I also have a lot on the other side, as well as in the middle, here. So the goal today is to mine all of these ancient debris, hopefully in a not too painful way, and then use them to build something. I already removed a quarter of the ancient debris because I had to make some space for the second world eater, and out of curiosity I wanted to know how long it will take to mine all of these manually. So I just used the machine to push all of the ancient debris down, so it will be a bit easier to mine them, and then I basically spent 7 hours mining everything. On this side I used the same machine to push all the ancient debris down, but here I want to try something else to mine them. Let me show you in creative. So to collect these ancient debris, you have basically two options. You can either move the players to all the debris or move the debris to the player. Well, at least if you want to mine them, because you can also use TNT, but in my case I prefer to mine them. If you want to move all the ancient debris to the player, you will need a lot of conveyors and it's not going to be easy. But at least the collection then will be easy, compared to moving the player, which is a lot simpler, but then you have to deal with how to collect the items you're mining. But in my survival world in 1.18, I have a very simple way to deal with this issue. And so I have this machine here, which is something we use to mine obsidian inside of perimeters. I have shown this machine last year on a video, which is basically the same thing, but it moves 3-way. But here instead I just need to move 1-way, so it's much more simpler. And to use it, the player has to stand inside of the composter and mine the blocks, and then the machine will move. And this way you can mine an entire layer of ancient debris that is 5 blocks wide. And that means that there is basically two issues. The first one being that if the strip is more than 5 blocks, the player won't be able to reach those blocks, but there is actually a way to deal with that. And the other issue is that you will have to build this for each layer. It's not a big deal because there aren't that many layers, but it will be much nicer to have it move down automatically. But I'm sadly lacking skills to be able to do that. To fix the first issue I mentioned, I designed this machine, which is there to push all the ancient debris that are more than 5 blocks away. So if you have any ancient debris here, for example, or here, they will be pushed. I can show you the machine in action. You just have to trigger this. You can see it slowly. It will first push an ancient debris that will be here, and then this second piston will push the ancient debris there. So it will not work all the time because sometimes you will have already 5 ancient debris. That's why there is this piston here to push in case, and there is the same one here. And technically you also need to have an immovable here, so the ancient debris won't go that way, but you could technically run another flying machine on this side to push limit the pistons. But the thing is that in my case there aren't that many blocks that are more than 5 blocks away, so I think it's gonna be much faster to mine them first and then run the other machine. Back in survival, it's time to build a machine, but first I'm just gonna mine the blocks that are more than 5 blocks away, but as you can see it's only a few blocks, that's why I'm gonna do it manually. So let me finish that and then I will build the first machine. Okay, I have the machine ready, let's test it. So I should just have to stand here. Okay, so it seems to work. But as you can see, there is the problem of collecting the ancient debris that I talked about earlier. Well, for this I have two things that I need to do. You can either download a script, like this. Script download survival. And then it's called auto pickup. This one. And you can also use the version in Corners Carpet, which is called Better Careful Break, and this is what I'm using. So now I can just sneak, and I will collect all the items, but there will be another issue. After some times I won't have enough space in my inventory. Some time ago I showed you the shadow hole that I built in my main storage. If you want to know how it works, you can watch the video, it's going to be much simpler. But basically I use it to build decorations, so I store all the items here, and then I can use them anywhere. But it can also work the other way around. I can be anywhere, gather some materials, and then they will all be sent here. And so that's what I want to do here with ancient debris. I want to have some kind of filters with a box loader underneath, and all the ancient debris that I will mine will end up here in this hole. I'm not entirely sure if I want to make something permanent for that, but for now I'm just going to do it for ancient debris, so I will put a filter in the middle with a small storage. And now that the box loader is in place, I can make the shadow stack. So to do this, I just need to place here the comparator, then turn this on. Just gonna get this stack, put it over this one. Here I can click, and then I can click on this one. And now I have two of the same stacks. So I can just get the first one here, second one on this side. I'm just gonna turn this off again, place the comparator. And now I will put one of the two stacks inside of the filter. So I will just drag it here, and now since the two stacks are connected, every time I will mine ancient debris, they will go on this stack, and they will also go on this one. So it's not duplicated, those are the same stack. And to demonstrate that a bit better, I'm just gonna go here and mine more debris. And so here it will just increase the size of the stack, but after a while it will be big enough. Yeah, right now. So every time I get more than 22 items, the signal strength will be enough to unlock the hopper, and they will be sent to the shulker box. If I go back to where the loader is, we can see the same stack here with 22 items, and I don't need any filler items here because nothing else can end up in this hopper, and the rest of the debris are ending up in the shulker box. So now I just need to put more shulker boxes so I can collect everything. And also this is already chunk loaded. It doesn't work if it's not chunk loaded, but it's currently on because I'm also using it for the rockets and food. So yeah, let's just add more shulker boxes, and then I can try to run this machine for the entire way. Running the machine was successful, and in this chest I have all the debris I got from the first two sessions, which means I have basically half of it, and it's already a lot. But it was a bit painful to do it this way, because once the machine is running it's not that bad, but you have to rebuild it a lot of time, and it's not very ideal. In the beginning of the video I mentioned that I wanted to find a way that is ideally not painful, and I wasn't able to design the machine myself. A few weeks ago I saw a video about a user named WigTerOdoc, and it was about a machine to collect the debris manually after running the site sweep world data. And their machine was basically exactly what I needed. Well, almost exactly, because there is just one thing I want to change, so I'm gonna quickly show it in creative, and I'm gonna show you what I changed. So this is their machine, and it can be used to collect an area of 12 by 12 ancient debris, which is represented by this box. And the way it works is there is a wall of slime and honey that will move and grab the first slice of ancient debris. Then they will be pushed on this side, they will be sent up this conveyor and into this blast chamber here. So I'm going to quickly turn it on for one cycle. We can see this move. It will grab the first slice, then this fly machine will move and it will bring all of this debris to the blast chamber, and it will do one slice at a time. And once the blast chamber will be filled by ancient debris, we will start activating some TNT. This machine works fine. I don't really have any issue with it, except that it uses TNT. And it's not really an issue, it's just a goal that I set up to myself, which is to mine all the debris with a pickaxe. So the main thing I want to modify here is, instead of sending all the debris to a blast chamber, I want to send them to a mining chamber. So the first thing I changed was the size of the wall. It's still 12 blocks high, but it's only 8 blocks wide, because in my case, even with a 5000 blocks long perimeter, you don't really have anything that's longer than 8 blocks. I have the same flying machine on the right, which will send the debris here, which will then be sent up to the mining chamber. But unlike this side, where it's moving one block, then all the debris are moved up, then it's moved a second block, and that takes a while. I here instead move all the debris at once, then this flying machine can go back, and I move all the debris up at the same time. And the reason for that is so we can send this flying machine quickly. Because there is one big problem with this method of collecting the debris, is that each time we run this, it's gonna take longer. So in this case, I've run it for a few blocks, and so the flying machine will have to move from here to here. And the perimeter is 1000 blocks long. So after a while, it will take a lot of time for the flying machine to go all the way there and back here. That's why I wanted to save as much time as possible and be able to send this machine back much quickly than with this one. After the debris are sent on this side of the machine, they will be sent up with this flying machine, and we send them one step at a time. So we have this observer tower to activate the machine once, then the player will mine the debris and it will activate the machine again. Once they arrive at the top, we have to move the debris around, because this flying machine is 8 blocks long and the player cannot reach 8 blocks, can at max reach 5 blocks. And so at the top we transform the 8 blocks long line into 4 blocks. When the 8 debris arrive at the top, we first start activating the 6 pistons on the side to move those debris here. Then the player will mine these 4 debris. And then we activate the slime blocks, which will basically push the debris here, and we activate those 2 pistons to move them in front of the player. But we have to make sure that the player has time to mine these debris before we push the next one. And technically we can time how long it takes to mine a debris, but we have to take into consideration if there is some lag, or if somehow the player stops mining. So we basically have to detect when the debris are all mined. So what we do is have this sort of end gate here. So each time we have any block at the top, there is a redstone line below that will be activated. There are only 3 repeaters instead of 4, and the main reason is because if we have one here, it will trigger this piston. But technically, this one is not needed, because if there is no ancient debris here, then it's guaranteed that there are no debris on the other side. But we can remove any of the 3 repeaters here, those ones are needed. And so this redstone line is connected to the other side, and it makes sure that the next cycle will be started only after all the debris have disappeared. And below we have a simple filter with a box loader. So this is the machine I'm going to use in survival. I designed everything here, but all of this side was already in the first design, so I can't take any credit for that. I'm not going to turn it on here. I think I will first build it in survival and then show the machine in action. Okay, I'm back in survival and I have built the machine. It's about 30 minutes to build it, so it's pretty quick. And I think it's time to start it and see it in action. So I just have to stand here and this will turn on the machine. I already have the bots to load the area because it's quite large, so I can't just load it with one player. And I also have the begin here to have haste 2. So it's going to be a bit quicker. Okay, so I just have to position myself here First, maybe I will turn this on, which will first turn on this machine, and hopefully everything is working fine. Right now, nothing will really happen because there is no debris, so the machine will move to detect there is nothing, and then it will continue until there is a debris. And since I have built it a bit far away from the first ancient debris, it will take some time, so we will wait a bit. Okay, so I think in this cycle it should start grabbing the ancient debris. Yeah, perfect. So it's gonna grab the first slice, and it's gonna wait here, because we need to wait for this flying machine to finish. It's almost done. It will send the signal to this one. Okay, perfect. Okay, the first debris should be arriving soon. Okay. And now the machine is stopped because we have an ancient debris here, and I need to actually mine it. And now it will continue. As you can see, it's working perfectly. And most of the time you won't have 8 ancient debris. It's actually very rare. You will usually have between 2 and 4 or 5. We can see most of the slices are actually closer to 1 or 2. It's very rare that it's actually longer. So right now we are limited by the time it takes me to mine all the ancient debris, but at some point we'll be limited by this flying machine here. Each time this flying machine has to go further away, and at some point it's gonna take longer than the time it takes us to mine the ancient debris. And this is the main issue with this machine. It's gonna take a lot of time to mine all the ancient debris in this 1000 blocks wide perimeter. In fact, it's gonna take about 6 days. This is a 10 game tick flying machine, which means it moves 2 blocks every second. So to move 20 blocks, it will take 10 seconds in one direction and 10 seconds in the other direction. So it's basically 1 second per block. And since we have 1000 blocks in this perimeter, it means it will take 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 until 1000. And we can easily calculate how long that is using this formula. And we can determine it will take about 6 days for the entire perimeter. One solution to make the progress a bit faster would be to do half of it, which is 500 blocks, and then build another machine. If we do 500 blocks, it will only take 1.5 days, which is 4 times faster than 1000. And in total that would mean 3 days instead of 6. So that's a bit more manual work, but less AFK time. So there is just actually one more thing I need to do before AFK here, and it's to add a regeneration beacon. Otherwise I won't last long. And now everything should be good, and I can start AFK here. I also want to use my own player to mine the debris, and I don't want to leave my PC running for 6 days, but since I'm on a server using carpet mod, I can just run this command, which will allow me to continuously run this machine without needing my client to be open. Once the machine was finished, I needed to build it one last time, and so I thought I would show you the different steps involved in case you wanted to use it. The first thing I did was to mine the few debris that were in the last layer. Then I used some flying machines to move the debris up to make sure that will be collected. That's an issue with this machine. Since the bottom part is big, you can't really build it low enough, and so you have to move up some of the debris so they can fit inside of the area outlined in the schematic. Then I spent some time removing the lava to make sure I will have enough space to build a machine. Once that was done, I built a machine to push the ancient debris down. And then I removed the few debris that were remaining It can happen sometimes when you have more than 12 blocks in the same column. And after that, I was able to run the machine. I wanted to keep some ancient debris, but I decided to smelt a few boxes because I want to build something with netherite blocks. So I used the smelter that I have at my main storage. It's small, but it does the job. A few years ago, I used some of my diamonds to build this temple at my base, and today I want to do something similar with netherite blocks. It doesn't look amazing, but I think it's a cool flex. So there it is, the netherite temple, right next to the diamond one. And I still have quite a few ancient debris left, so that's not all of them. I think I was able to basically build 10 beacons if I wanted to, but I thought it would be a bit better to do something different. I will link the ancient debris mining machine in the description of the video, and also on my Discord if you want to use it. And yeah, that pretty much completes this project. I'm back here at the base, and it's been a while since I've done pretty much anything here, but recently I've decided to do some work because I want to finish at least the terrain of the base. I think it was 3 years ago when I built this front part with this terraforming, but I'm not entirely happy with it. And so before finding a new way to do it a bit better, I want to finish the terrain above, which means extending this grass platform around. So I already started this project, that's why I'm not gonna show you how it looks. It will be for another video. It will be a bit different than this one because it's not very technical, it's mostly building, but I think that it's cool to change things every now and then just to not get bored. That will be it for this one. I hope you liked it, and I will see you in the next video.